My name is Laura Baum, and I'm the founder of Laura's Botanicals. Thank you so much for joining me on Substack. I'm a newer member to this community, and we're steadily growing, and we're just so excited and ecstatic at all of the momentum that we are building here on Substack as a new channel for a new arm extension to our company, Laura's Botanicals. And I hope to provide a lot of tremendous value here, questions, reflections, observations about the holistic health journey. I've been on the personal health journey using holistic tools, herbs, and natural solutions for health for about a decade, a little bit longer now, actually. That includes growing my own garden. It includes foraging my own food and wild herbs. It includes identifying wild foods correctly and local plants. It includes collaborating with many, many dozens of practitioners from all types of modalities of health and wellness, including, holistic types of mental health therapy, chiropractic, massage, personal training, for my own health as well as for the health of other people. So, a lot of collaborations and a lot of integrations into my existing lifestyle. Um, and I've also had 20 years working in classrooms with children and families. So a lot of just clinical and evidentiary support for my practice. I really tremendously, I really believe in the power of nature. So directly getting natural inputs, really going out to wild spaces, um, really engaging with the plant communities directly, supporting sustainability through proper seed sharing and just diversity trainings and diversity plants, understanding the amount of biodiversity there actually is of plants, and protecting and conserving wild species of rare and endangered therapeutic plants. I've been a huge fan of programs that have facilitated that conversation for many years. I've done events and classes and conferences focusing on that. I believe that the future is herbal medicine because it passes. So I believe in a fully integrated way for us moving forward is to recognize the power of plants and mushrooms and to protect the spaces where some of those things can yet be discovered, for our most important modern medicines that have yet to be created. I have an event coming up, Become an Herbalist. I do this event on a cyclical basis. Like many other things in my life, I come seasonally. It's an activating experience. So the intention is to get more plants and start using more plants. Start becoming a partner with more plants because plants are incredible. And I break down my procedures, ways that I know will really facilitate the most connection directly and with the most speedy fashion. So it's not necessarily just going and trying to cram your mind full of herbal knowledge. It's going out and really taking action and implementing. So the greatest activities that will bring the most about connection and soulful recognition and the most deep relationship possible because it is a relationship, the working relationship that will bring you closer to plants, to remember the plants, to use them for your health. So building that wisdom and that connection and that commitment. So that's August 24th through the 28th. My link is kind of sprinkled throughout all my Substack articles that I've written so far and my posts and my notes. We also are a proud affiliate partner with Mountain Rose Herbs, and I did recently share a note about a 25% off discount. Use my link I'll get a little bit of credit for your purchase, and I'll collectively and thoughtfully put there create some collections for you for your health focus or need at the moment. So if you're focusing on sleep or energy management or stress reduction or pain reduction, I can help you pull those herbals out for you from the website and then customize shopping link for you to get some really excellent custom herbals for you for your daily health needs. So I do recommend Mountain Rose Herbs, and they are offering a 25% off sale. So we have there's a discount code in my recent post. I also regularly collaborate with practitioners. So I will start soon be creating some content around with shared articles and or uploading my podcast episodes because I have been utilizing a social media web show approach for the last few months of my business of Laura's Botanicals. So I'll be uploading the same content that I've been regularly putting on Facebook and YouTube onto the Substack, so you can start engaging with my interviews. So I've been doing interviews for over a couple of years now, actually, with other industry professionals in aligned practices. So to give even more insight to people who are looking for, again, how tools can integrate together, how to bring herbs into your other health practices that you're already doing. We're totally about working with people with where they're actually at and to set realistic goals and expectations. So it's also a really great interview series to help the holistic health practitioner who's thinking about expanding their impact by maybe adding a deeper area to their services or to add on a completely different modality. And then, yeah, the other thing I'm talking about this week for my clients, for you all, because in my program, Everyday Herbals and Fast Track, we get into like actual implementation. We have calls where we do more strategic trainings. That program is actually $20 a month, very accessible. And the links are sprinkled throughout my posts and my articles. Everyday Herbals and Fast Track is a great complementary add-on to your existing health tools that you're currently using, focusing around those procedures that I was mentioning earlier that we map out for you in our live event. And so what we're focusing on this month is like the food and the diet primarily. So you'll see some of my posts this week have been about like going to the garden. And we did a whole article last week, and I included my free ebook on how to grow a health supporting garden, even if you've never grown a plant before in your life. So all of these things are actually free, and throughout the articles, the buttons are available for you to click onto those free and very high value resources that I've been making in my company for about a decade. We don't yet have paid tier only offers. We will soon, but that's not quite yet available. But for now, we're just pumping the value so you can see that, wow, if it's this good when it's free, imagine what it'll be like when it's not. And that's kind of the point. We want you to understand that we are actually all been building value for years. So when we take it to that next level, it's going to be pretty spectacular. Um, and we've got an existing network of practitioners from all over the country. Our goal is to work with people in all states. So my program is completely remote and online, virtual, but not disconnected. So we are truly with you as you're making choices to help the decisions, help stay accountable, stay aligned, and to support you in your region. So I can't, if I can't have an answer for you, I will help you find someone who will and help you source the things you need for your holistic daily goals in your town or city. And we are currently talking about plants. Maybe I'll add on a little bit more value here now that I'm giving you a rundown about what to expect at Laura's Botanical Substack. But yeah, so we've been talking this week about, you think you're eating healthy, but are you really? If your food isn't organic, biodynamically grown, or regeneratively grown. So let me just explain those three things real quick. We do know that eating lesser processed foods is better for you. Okay. Even if it's organic. Organic and processing can sometimes be a misnomer, right? It might still have a lot of extra chemicals that you don't need in your body or high levels of sodium, which are not very good for the health of your kidneys. And there's lots of clinical evidence showing that the more organic, least amount of items, least amount of ingredients in your products, the better for heart health and for lessening diabetes risk. So lessening cardiovascular risk as well. And so I think the three things to look for a lot of times for your foods, what some other extra markers you might not know exist. Organic, of course, but also biodynamically grown, biodynamic, as well as regenerative agriculture. Regenerative agriculture is a really interesting movement towards using the land differently. So it talks not just about the food itself, but that and the way that it has more nutrients for your body to use for better health, which food is medicine. People know that food is like health, right? What you eat really is your body. And it indicates too that when you're using regenerative agriculture or biodynamically grown foods, the land was cared for, the animals were cared for, the soils were cared for. So food does not just start with the picking from the plant. The food starts with how the land was cared for. And so when farms or products have those labels, it's giving homage to those larger traditions and systems of agriculture that use ethics in the way that it's actually being run and the way that it's giving back to the earth itself. So the inputs and outputs are a lot different in regenerative agriculture compared with larger agriculture that we usually see in most of our foods. It also implies there's less pesticides. That's definitely the case with organic foods. In order to be an organic label, you have to have a certain standard and regulation. There's regulations involved with a certain amount of pesticides. And that's also more ethical because we are taking care of our bugs and our pollinators. There's a lot of good things about regenerative agriculture. There's also the term permaculture. So that's usually giving homage to forest gardening or utilizing the way that the earth naturally presents itself to create systems for gardening. This is very popular with indigenous groups. There's a lot of history and historical references to how food was grown. It wasn't always grown in the way that we see with the typical all-tilled soil, right? And the mass amounts of earth being used up, which tends to cause erosion. It causes drain off into our oceans, which is very harmful. It creates a lot of die-offs and algae issues, which we've noticed, and kills off our very delicate coastal systems of mollusks and our grasses, which are very important for preventing issues with hurricanes. So we do need to understand these systems and these labels because of the wider impact, the larger impact. So what you can do as a consumer is you can ask your grocery store if they carry products that are organic, products that are regeneratively grown or come from regenerative agricultural systems. Do they have pamphlets or information about these systems and how they impact your local environment? Where are there local farms that do have these practices? A lot of local farms are stepping up and making themselves known for this. And many of them already naturally are this because they are locally pasture raised animals and vegetables and fruits. Become an advocate and a direct consumer of farmers markets. Most of these farms are small and they're not using these larger, more invasive practices of farming. You also get to know the farmers and what they directly like to use and what they like to grow. Build direct relationships with your farmers. And if you have any questions about, how to best do that, how to maybe what to ask, how to look for things, what type of products might be available at local farmers markets, you're always welcome to reach out for a DM. But I wanted to spell out some of those labels today because that's what we've been talking about with our clients and on our other social media channels this week. Um, Herbs are plants that are using for therapeutic intentions. And there's lots of herbs available both in the wild spaces and in the spaces that are cultivated intentionally for food. So I hope you get to know some of those things through your local farmers market this week. All right. Well, that's about what I wanted to tune in for today. Remember, food is everything. You eat every single day. So why not make it really good? Make a diverse plate. There are so many options beyond what you see at the grocery stores. And there's so many parts to the plant that aren't actually ever sold that you also would get access to at a local farmer's market or learning how to forage and grow the plants yourself or a combination of both those things, which inevitably it probably will be to make up what you need. I've got tons of resources as foragers, and you'll see some of those people. I will restack them in the Substack, so you'll get idea of who I listen to and who I pay attention to on a regular. And I'll try to keep that list very curated and intentional. So you see, I will actually work with who I like to work with and to really listen to who I want to listen to. So I do use quite a level of curation there to make sure that people that I am sharing are people who I actually have listened to myself. And I'm on social media. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, um, LinkedIn. So if you want to connect in those other containers, other spaces, please do so. We're regularly there posting, sharing value that's specific for those platforms. But otherwise, there's going to be a lot of value here on Substack. Regular lives. Again, first things first, uploading those podcast episodes so that you guys can see that I do have podcasts that will share here, my live interviews with other practitioners. And I plan on going live on the 24th to 28th for my Become an Herbalist live event. You can register for that event. Let me just kind of get that for you so that you have that link. And it's sprinkled throughout all my articles and posts from the last 2 weeks. I've only been regularly posting the last 2 or 3 weeks on Substack. And Become an Herbalist is, again, an activating experience, really kind of just about getting more plants and start doing the things, right? How to really start, how to really do the basics to bring herbs into your life and to really be able to do it successfully. So in the chat is my registration page for Become an Herbalist, and you'll definitely learn within that my membership program, Everyday Herbalism Fast Track. So let me know if you have any questions. Hope you enjoyed this live, getting to know Substack for Laura's Botanicals, and have a great rest of your day.